Welcome. Thank you to spend your time watching this presentation from Education of Development. Education of Development, improving a living condition in Africa. The quality of education importance and the importance of teacher training in Africa. We are scientists and specialists of pedagogy from Africa, and we are living and working in the Western Europe and Northern America. And we are concerned by development of our continent. Development means how to create job, how to help kids and youth to have a quality education and to create their own job at the end of their education after graduation, and how to move from the agrarian model of living to an industrial way to improve quality living in Africa. So the purpose of development in Africa is a big challenge that on which many countries and internal institutions are focused on. So let's see what's going on since some decades. Concerned about development in Africa, we have our mother continent, Africa. We all know that the development cooperation program from from industrial countries who help Africa in his program of development. We also know the ODA, Official Development Assistance, an organization also from Europe and America, or even Asia and Japan countries, developed country, and an organization of developed country to help Africa who is willing for development. We have the United Nations Development Program. That's a big, one of the biggest institutions that help Africa to be developed. We also hear a few years ago about the Marshall Plan of Africa to help the continent. We hear also since some couple of years with win-win cooperation between developed countries and developing countries, as we also hear about transfer of technology from Western countries to a developing country to help Africa to be developed. All these are coming from outside of the continent, but inside of the continent we have the new partnership for Africa's development, the NEPAD, who is also the commitment between Africa countries, the leadership, political leadership, and organization to promote really development on the country. On the continent. So we can't go around all this without talking about International Money Fund and World Bank. So all these institutions are helping since 50 or even 60 years our continent to be developed. But we, in our small group of scientists and specialists of pedagogy, thinking about how we can bring our continent to really development, we are still surprised by some images like this. Look at this little girl taking this hoe. This tool is from old Egyptian. So this tool is from a Neolithic period, and most of Africans are focused in agricultural development. So more than 75% of the population of Africa use this tool to work in farms and to develop their activities since many decades. But many engineers from electronical, from electricity, mechanic, electromechanic, computer, and many kinds of different branches are products by our university since many times ago, but none of them I think really how to manage, how to change the use of this tool, how how to create another tool using technical industrial way and our assets that we have in Africa, to put in the hand of the farmers modern tools that can increase the area, that's the agricultural area, and with better income at the end of the season. So we are really surprised by these images. Meaning we are not here criticizing the education system. It's not a fault of this engineering, but the purpose is to think about our needs and our condition and to create necessary tools to improve our living condition. Out of this image, we also have this one. We have chosen only two of many images we can look at. The problem of these women is they get water under the ground, I mean 30 or even 40 meters under the ground, and then they want to pull this water out of the ground and then to use it. So they are using this string and then this plastic rub to do this. Under the sun, it's very hot. They spend their time making this typical exercise and then to bring this water out of this hole. So what a terrible situation. But we in Africa, we are engineers, and then can't we imagine a specific tool to help these women? That's the aim of engineer courses. So we think that in Africa, in this area, I'm thinking about Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, Senegal, even Chad, until Sudan and Congo, where the wind is very high and very constant. We can use blades of wind, and we can also use a gearbox, a classic gearbox, and with this blade turned by the wind, with blade only simple turned by wind and gearbox, we can bring this water from this hole to a tank where we can stock it in the tank, and then the women can come and take water easily and then go home. This is very simple. We don't need even electricity to do this. We have even observed in this area the kids putting eggs in the sand, and then after some moment the egg is prepared. I mean, the kid prepare egg by putting it in the sun. So meaning that the sun is as hot that it can be used to cook egg very easily. But this energy, we don't use this typical energy that we get in Africa to improve our life conditions. That's something very specific. I mean, we are only African who can solve our problem. No one is facing our problem. So we are facing the problem we are facing. We are the only who have to solve them using our assets and what we really need. So we see that education specific in Africa is not focused on our needs. But what's going on in developed country between development and education? We have here we have made two assertions. The first one is this. First assertion, we are talking about developed country. The country that are developed, the country in which you get growth, you get wealthy, you get a job. All those countries are industrial countries. So this is clear. fundamentally no doubt that all the developed countries are industrial countries. This is the first assertion. We have taken the second one, and we have taken all the industrial country, the countries that get big industrial, the country that who can use the rural material and then to transform it and to become a very profitable material for the end user. All these industrial countries who can imagine any concept, any technological concept to bring better living with when abandon and agrarian method of living. All these industrial countries are developed countries. So you will say that this is only the reciprocal of the other, but we need to take the two assertions to make our analysis, and then from these two assertions we've done the first analysis. So the first analysis, we are talking about development. So and then we've seen that from these two analyses, that two assertions, that there is no development without industrialization. So where and how can you get industrialization? You don't have industrialization without technology. To have industrialization, you need technology. If you don't have technology, you will never get industrialization. That's the reason why in the slide I showed before, we are talking about, or people are talking about, transfer of technology, meaning that the developed country will transfer their knowledge, their technology to the developing countries. So technology is fundamental for industrialization, but where do you get technology? You can't have technology without school, without quality education, without quality physics teaching. So technology comes from school, and then this technology bring industrialization, and then industrialization bring development. This is clear. So out of this first analysis, we've done the second one. So we are only talking about development. We are focused on development, how to develop our continent. So we go around many universities in Paris, Brussels, we go to Berlin, we go to Oxford, we go to Harvard. And if you talk about development, the big teachers or lecturers, they tell you that the first element, that the first parameter you need to develop is the human resource. To develop a country or a continent, the first parameter you need is the human resource. But this human resource is not the men and women that are in a country or in a continent. The human resource is the brain power. It's what these men and women get in their mental, their brain, their head. That's the human resource, and you can't change, you can't create, you can't manage, you can't transform these men and women to be human resource without school. School is the way, the only way that you can, it's like a transformer. It's the only way you can transform people to be a human resource. So this fundamentally show that a school is the basis place of development. So we think that in Africa, our way of teaching is pure theoretical. The theoretical teaching in Africa can't allow youth and students to get a quality education, to transform their way of living, to be concerned, to be integrated really in the technology in terms that they can use it to solve their own problem. So on our website, www.africadevelopment.org, we have created many video practical and experimental video, physics lab video for students and teachers. They can use it simple to really understand all that is concerned by physics, like law of Laplace, law, Archimedes principle, electrolysis of water, and all those about. And they can use rural material and to create this experimentation. If this it's very important to bring knowledge to be evident. It must be obvious for the kid. What you are talking about in your classroom, what you are teaching must be obvious it must be evident for the kid, for they can use it to transform their whole life. So here we have the law of Laplace. We also have the Archimedes principle and many other experimentation. Here we are making electrolysis of water, and these are very important, and we can use it. You can do it in Africa. Do never teach what the kids are not seeing. They have to touch, they have to handle, they have to create. To learning by doing, learning by fun, learning by practice. This is very important for the kids to really integrate the knowledge. So we collect all these video available on our website on two DVD. So we have the first DVD, and then we have the second DVD. So these DVD are going on in grammar school, college, university, wherever in Africa, to help teachers and students to enhance their education. So we are going over this this help of education, and we would like to create two experimentation school in Africa. So the first one will be created at Togo in 2014, and then we are going to create the second one probably in Democratic Republic of Congo in 2017. So this school is very important for us to give a quality education to the student. We can then avoid students to end their education, to have a graduation, and then to take boats going to Europe and lose their life in Atlantic Sea or Mediterranean Sea. So let's be focused on our continent, bringing quality education on our continent, and give hope to the youth to develop and to create their future in Africa. This is very important for us doing this. So we go around and we go to the district secretary of Togo, where we would like to create the first education, and they endorse this project, willing to help us to create this project. So Education for Development is an organization of scientists and specialists of pedagogists of Africa living in Europe and North America, and we are really we really need you to achieve this project. So you can contact us by postmaster at africadevelopment.org or contact at africadevelopment.org. So your donation, your support welcome. So if you endorse this project, if you help us in this project, you have first and you are engaged in really development, meaning you are engaged in improving life condition in all over Africa, the rural area. These lady girl or women are suffering. We've seen in the slide below. You help them to get a better living. This is the first condition. This is the first act. The second act is you give really hope to the youth. So more than 50% of the population of Africa is under 26 years old. This is a challenge. This is a very big challenge. So let us give them a hope. Let us give them a special tool that can help them to create their own job. job to be joined after graduation, and then to create the necessary tool to improve our life, to move from the rural way of living to a modern type of living. We really need you to help us by sending your donation when you go to our website www.africa.africadevelopment.org. Thank you.